Hey guys, what's up? It's Connor Mitchell, head whiz of Dragon Rider Network, and today we're here doing a video that has definitely been long expected from last week, and that is my overview of this. The brand new iOS 7 beta preview. I have been using this thing on my phone as my daily driver for the last week, and I am extremely happy to say I've pretty much gone through everything there is to go through on this phone, and I have my findings here in this video. So anyway, let's get into it. So iOS 7, as we saw at WWDC 13, was a sweeping change to the iOS that we all know and love. Not so much as in terms of functionality, well, actually in terms of some functionality, but also in terms of look and feel of the operating system. So anyway, let's go ahead and see what sets it apart from iOS 6. The first thing that you're going to notice about this new operating system is that there is a whole new layout. The layout is much more flat, and it comes with new icons, new home screen, new wallpaper. Just everything has really been cleaned up to make it look more flat and sleek. One of my personal favorites is actually the fact that you can now create folders with multiple pages. This is a huge help for when you want to store many apps on your phone, and if you're like me, you're totally OCD about it and actually sort it out completely, either using alphabetical order or using some other crazy form of organization that makes you quite OCD. Second big feature, definitely coming in the area of music, is iTunes Radio. Now this came as a bit of a surprise to a few people, especially in the coming days when Apple was signing last-minute deals with music networks in order to get their music online and create their very own radio service that can compete with Pandora. It's really cool because you can create stations based on artists that you like, and Apple even has some really cool preset stations like Decade of iTunes, iTunes Festival Favorites, and many others that are really nice to listen to. And of course, you can create your own genres as well. Talking more about music, we obviously have a new music player where you can see the artist views. Text has been made bigger, everything's a lot easier to view, it's a lot softer on the eyes now that you have a lot more white in there, and the best thing is that they didn't exactly get rid of cover flow, they just really made it much more usable, where you can, instead of having one album at a time, you can have multiple albums paging across at once, and it's a really nice view. The new Photos app is definitely now taking a turn for the better, because now it is much easier to have sorted photos. You now have your photos in a series of collections, and then if you go even further than that, a series of years. So instead of having one long continuous list of photos in your camera roll, you now have them sorted out far better than you ever did before, and they look way better. And when it comes to sharing, you now have a new set of share features. Obviously you can still message it to people, but they now have incorporated AirDrop, and when iOS 7 goes live, if somebody else has an iPhone, then you will be able to go to them, stand near them, or just be in the same room as them, and be able to AirDrop files like links, photos, videos, anything you really want directly to them. And of course, they really played off the whole bit where Samsung and the GS4 has the feature where if you touch the phones, then it can share data. This way, you don't have to touch phones. I can already see the advertisements coming up for that. The camera used in iOS 7 now has a really slick layout. You can now swipe between doing a regular standard photo, a square photo that you would obviously either use for Instagram or just being artistic. You can do pano, and then of course you can have the video effect. And of course, for the video camera, you can actually now pinch in and zoom during video, which is, I'm not sure how great the quality is going to be, but it's definitely something that can be pretty useful if you need it. Maps have made their return to iOS in a really big way. The UI has been drastically cleaned up, so now everything's a lot more translucent, and then when you actually tap on the screen, then you can actually make the top and bottom bars go away and have a much more immersive experience when viewing maps on your phone. Although, keeping it real, this is Apple Maps still, and there are issues from time to time. For example, when I actually went to go look for one of my relatives' house, I'm pretty sure they don't live in the middle of the woods. We have a brand new notification center, which is definitely a lot cleaner. It has a translucent effect, so that way when you drag it down, you can still see the background behind it, and things are seeming much more layered throughout this OS. You can of course keep up on all of your notifications right there, and when a notification bar comes in, it's actually more blocky and has like a very nice roll to it like it did before in the old iOS, and it's not as curved anymore. Control Center. This is what we have all been waiting for since day one. The ability to change your brightness, volume, access your Wi-Fi, your airplane mode settings, your camera, and even a custom flashlight is incredibly brilliant on Apple's part, and we finally got it. I've only been using iOS 7 for a week, and already this is going to be a key part of how I use my phone every single day. Going back to Notification Center will also tell you which of your apps have been updated, because now your apps will automatically update on iOS 7. I've already had the joyful experience of no longer having to manually update my apps, and it is a complete burden off of me now. So that way you just download apps and your phone will tell you what apps have already been updated. So it is a huge help. There's a new Safari app. Obviously the icon doesn't look that great, but the functionality is really cool. You get full screen browsing not only in landscape but in portrait, which is really nice. It's actually intelligent, so that way if you're scrolling down through the page, then it will actually tell that you're wanting to continue down and it will go full screen on its own. But then when you start scrolling up to the top of the page, then it will know that you actually want to go back, so then it will bring it back up automatically. Also, tab browsing is now much cooler because now you can have them like files and scan through them, which makes having multiple tabs that much easier, especially viewing it in a single page. And then of course, talking about new apps that got the flat treatment and have been updated to look even better than before, not so much for functionality, but just for looks. Let me run through those real quick. We have a new flat calendar in iOS. We have new SMS app. We have a new weather app modeled after Yahoo. We have new clocks that can be used in analog or digital. We have stocks, which make it look a little bit darker and more flat. We have a new compass, a new calculator, which can be accessed from Control Center. And we have new contacts, which the bubbles for the faces actually look a lot like chat heads in Facebook. So that's just something weird to point out. Maybe it's just me, I don't know. And one last little fun thing for you guys to know about iOS 7 is Newsstand obviously is still here. You can't get rid of it yet, but two things. One, the icon is much more appealing to look at than an icon of an empty bookcase. And two, you can indeed move it in a folder, so that way you can put it in a folder, move it on to one of the pages that you would never go to, and forget about it. So anyway guys, my view of iOS 7 is definitely one that is very good. So far for the beta and being a beta only, it's incredibly impressive of the features that Apple really listened to that we wanted and put into this. And it's also impressive to see that iOS 7 is definitely not the end point for iOS in total, because they were able to get this new look, a new feel, and a really cool new experience for iOS. And I can definitely see this carrying on for a few more years, as long as they keep on updating it. My only concern would be this. Being this is the beta, obviously there are some issues with functionality, which I am not going to go into because one, this is a beta, and two, it's nowhere near complete yet. But another thing is that Jony Ive and his team are currently working on new icons, so the ones we have right now on the phone are not the final product. So this is going to be a little bit promising for many other people. So anyway guys, that is my overview of iOS 7. If you have any questions, leave them in the form of a comment down below. Also, if you like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. And of course, make sure you subscribe for future tech content and tech news just like this. So anyway guys, I have been eaten up by the bugs out here, and I have been Connor Mitchell, and I will catch you guys at the next video. Talk to you then.